Hello, my name is Kohl. I am a member of the RoadPro Council. I've been asked to talk about buying an inverter. There are two types of inverters out there. There's a pure sine wave and then a modified sine wave. Kind of look at it like a pure sine wave is a rolling hills, valleys, stuff like that, all smooth, up and down. Your modifieds kind of look like the top of a castle. They look like steps. Up, down, stuff like that. They both have purposes, and they both have cons. On pure sine wave, you get a more efficient usage of your equipment. It lasts longer. The downside of that is they also turn around cost a lot more. On your modified sine waves, what you look at is cost is half. The efficiency is not as good, and that means you're not going to get as long as use out of your setup. What you also need to look at is what are you using your inverter for? Are you using it to run a microwave, a CPAP machine, charge your laptop, video gaming, stuff like that? To find out the proper size you want, you're going to have to turn around and figure out your wattage. Most things come with wattage already written on it in one form or another. If you cannot find the wattage, but you can find your amperage, that's fine. Using Ohm's law, which is amperage times voltage equals your wattage. So say that you have a 2 amp system, times that by the 120 volts, which is what most household current is, you're looking at 240 watts. Now, to be on the safe side, times that by 1.2, so that way you have a better idea, and it'll take into consideration the ups and downs of your truck idling and stuff like that. And that will turn out and give you roughly 280. So you can take all your wattage and add up. Say you've got 4 items, one at 80 watts, another one at 45 watts, 2 items at 100 watts, excuse me, at 200 watts. You're looking at roughly 325 watts. So you're going to definitely want something that pulls at least 400 watts. Now, everything that you plug in has a startup cost. It's usually double whatever it is. So when you turn to look at your sine waves, you're going to want something that runs a continuous route, which is basically 1,000, 1,500, 2,000, 3,000 watts. But when you plug stuff in, it's going to double that. So you'll want to definitely turn around and look at something that has a 3,000 watt continuous with a 6,000 watt peak wattage. That way, if you plug in more than one item and it surges, it doesn't break that peak. This will turn around and keep all your equipment running properly. Another thing that you're going to need to look at is where do you want to put it. Most people turn around and look at either put it under the bunk, put it behind the seat. The shorter the wires to your battery, the better it is. If you go further from the battery, you're going to have to use a thicker cable. Always make sure that you have an inline fuse of some kind between the battery and your inverter. This will help keep your inverter from burning out. If something happens, you don't want to turn around and use it and spend $300-400 on an inverter and whatever it is you're using, say a microwave, only to have it fry itself out because it wasn't properly wired. The placement of the inverter also has to have a well ventilated area. One of the reasons being is that it gets hot. You don't want dust and dirt building up on it, because all that does is try and give more reason to work twice as hard. And that in turn will turn around and cause it to overheat. Believe it or not, that's also one of the reasons why we have to worry about truck fires, is because they are improperly wired. Nobody wants to wake up in your bunk to the smell of fire. It's not good.